Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings, and this is video number 3 of how to make inventory management system. And in this video, we are going to continue developing our database, and we will make relationships as well. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please make sure you do that and hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload any video. And if you end up liking this video, then smash the like button. Okay, so before I proceed to today's topic, I would like to make some corrections. In previous video number 2, we created a table called stock transfer. In that table, I realized that I've skipped some of the things. I forgot to add some of the things. Yes, we are basically transferring the stock, but what stock we are transferring and what is the value of that stock, that I totally skipped it. So if you have created a table already based on my video number 2, I would like you to make this correction in that table. So all the yellow highlighted fields needs to be added. Okay, so we'll go to the Microsoft Access now, and I'll go to the stock transfer table and right click design view. So we will add these fields in it. So we'll say in here, we'll add this as a number. This will be a foreign key, okay, for the product. And what is the unit cost of that product? That also is very important, and I totally skipped it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I did. But thank God I realized it. As soon as I realized, I took a note and I thought I'll mention this in this video. So please make sure that you do this correction as well. All right, so number, double standard, decimal point 1, total received value. So after received quantity, so received value number, double standard 1 decimal point. Okay, so that is the correction. And now we can say that whenever we are transferring a stock, what stock we are transferring, what is the unit purchase price of that stock, and then based on the quantity, what is the total stock which is being transferred, and what is the value of that stock which is being transferred. And similarly, likewise, what we are receiving it. So if the other location is receiving, how much quantity they are receiving, and what is the value of the quantity that they have received. So this is why it's important, and let's make it a little bit of automation here. And how do we do that? For example, I want to make automation in the price calculations particularly. So for example, if I talk about unit purchase price, that's the unit cost or the price or the value of this one particular product. And so we know the quantity as well, so we should be able to do the calculation of the value. So I'm going to, just give me a moment, I'm going to make this field as a calculated field. Okay, it's not allowing me to do that, so let's delete it. Okay, calculate it. Now we can say that the transfer quantity multiply by unit price, unit purchase price. So that will calculate the total transfer value. And now I will do the similar kind of calculation for the received value as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I will take this value, and we'll make this as a calculated field, and we will multiply unit purchase price multiply by received quantity. Okay, so that should do, and we simply delete this. Let's adjust the properties. Okay, so this is the correction, so please make sure that you also do these corrections when you are watching this video. If you have created a table for this, then strongly recommended. All right, now let's proceed with the tutorials that we are going to proceed. So we created tables until invoice, I guess, right? Invoice table is created. Now today we will start from the return order table. Okay, now these tables are used for the stock return or the sales return. For example, if customer has bought a product, then if there is an issue for that particular issue, customer wants to return, and if it is accepted by the store or by the seller, they would be able to accept that return, and therefore the return order should be created, because we want to make a record of all the return orders. So return orders should be created, and that's why these tables should be created. So we'll go to the create tab, table, right click, design view, and we'll simply copy and paste return ID, return order ID, location ID, which location is creating that return order. So it's very important that we record the locations as well. Created on, the data type will be date time, and we want to have a short date. Order ID, that will be foreign key, and therefore we will remove 0 as a default value. Order date, so what was the date of the order against through which that sales was generated. So we'll keep it as short date. What is the reason for return reason, and we want to make this field as a drop down, so user will have a drop down. So to make a drop down, we will choose lookup wizard. Okay, and I will type value by myself. We'll click on next, and we will say return reasons, maybe short access, damaged, what else, short access, damaged, what else could be damaged, and others. Anyway, we can add later on if there is any other. I'm sure there are a lot more reason for return, and those can be added later on. What is the approval status? So we'll change the field size to 30. Approved by, who has approved that return, that's very important to record. And is there any credit note issued for that return or not? Credit note is basically, I will explain what is the credit note. And return amount, what is the value of return which is being done by the customer. Okay, that we will record. And this return order was created by whom, that also we will record. 100. What is the status of return order? All right, and what is the status, date and time. So there we go, we have created a return order table. Now we will create a related table, which is return lines, and this table will hold the actual product which is being returned. This was the main order, and this will be the subform which we will embed in this order, and it will be linked with this. So let's copy the name of this table. Okay, there we go. Return lines and return line ID. Of course, which location is creating this return line, it will be a foreign key. When this return line was created, so we'll take a short date. Return line, return order ID, so this will be a foreign key here. And variant ID, this will also be a foreign key in this table. What is the item name? What is the SKU number? So we'll change the field size to 30. What is the unit price? So prices is always in number. Data type, double field size, format should be standard, decimal points 1, and default value should be null. Total quantity, so quantity, how much quantity is being returned, and what is the total price, and we do the calculation for this. So we'll say unit price multiplied by quantity. Okay, so this multiplied by quantity will get total price. Let's change it to standard decimal, no, caption. Okay, all right, so total price. And then what is the condition? So condition we want to make as a drop down. So again, we will go to the lookup wizard. So what is the condition of the product? In which condition you are receiving? It is well packed. Okay, it is new condition. It is damaged, used, others. We can add later on if we wish to add any other reason. Okay, any other condition. So that, then we can give a option to attach a picture. So for example, think of it, for example, a clothing store. Now you are running a clothing store and customer brought back the shirt saying I don't want this, and you take a picture of that shirt and attach it with the record. So you give that option to the user. Status, we'll reduce the size of status, and status date should be date and time, and should be short date. Okay, so return lines is also done. Now let's move on to the next one. And so if the return order is created, that means we have to give that amount back to the customer as well. So we'll issue a credit note to the customer saying that Mr. Miss Customer, this much money we are going to give you back as a result of return acceptance, and therefore that also should be recorded. Okay, now if we do that, then it would be great because we want to keep record of everything, remember. Okay, so that's the table name, that's the field name, location ID, it is a foreign key here. All right, created on date time, it will be short date, return order ID. So basically we are linking this credit note to the return order. That's why we are giving this reference of return order ID in this table, and this will be considered as a foreign key. So that's what we do. Cost center, we want to, so it will not be cost center ID, it will be cost center only. We want to record from which cost center that money will be deduct. Actually, it should be profit center, not even the cost center, because we are taking the money back from profit and we are giving profit center and we are giving away to the customer. So profit center should be recorded. Return amount, how much money we should give back to the customer, so that needs to be recorded. And whenever it is money, so you record it in this format. Okay, status, and we will reduce the field size for status, and status date and time, short date. Okay, so that's how you do it. Credit note is also done. Now we move on to the kind of last set of tables, and these tables are all about accounting and finance. All right, so let's make the first table, and that is expense type. Okay, there are lots of expenses generally generated in the business on day-to-day basis, and so we need to record those expenses as well. And that was created on when expense type. What is expense type? So this is a separate table that we are making, and later on we will link that table with the main expense table, and basically we will give that as a drop down in this expense table. So you can see expense type ID here and expense type ID here. So in expense types, expense type ID will become a primary key. In any other table, it will become a foreign key. All right, so status, short text, 25 will be field size, status date, date time, short date. Okay, so that is done. Let's move on to the next table, which is the expense table. All right, let's add the expense ID created on. You give a short date as a format for the date and time. Expense type ID will give a number because this is a foreign key. Location ID, this is also a foreign key. Okay, cost center, because whenever it is we are talking about the expense, they are all linked to the cost center. Expense year, and it is a drop down, so we can provide a drop down which states the year. Okay, let's make, oops. All right, that's enough. And then expense month, so we'll make another drop down here for the month, and we'll say January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. There we go. Okay, expense month is also recorded. And what is the description of expense? That will also be recorded. How much amount, how much money we have to pay, that will also be recorded. And it is created by whom, the expense, and it is approved by whom. Okay, and when it was approved, what is the status? status would be 25. And what is the status date? Oops. Short date. All right, that is done. Now let's move on to the accounts payable table. Now accounts payable is basically to record all the transactions that are linked to giving the money out of the business, taking the money out of the business and giving it to either to the supplier because we have purchased the stock, or to the customer because customer has returned some of the items, or it could be related to the expense. Expensed. There are different expense types, or operational expenses. For example, electricity bill, internet bill, wages, rents, and all those will be considered as accounts payable. So basically, whatever transaction you will do in expense table, in credit note, whatever transaction is created for the PO, that all will be recorded as account payable. Now account payable means that the money that you supposed to pay to either to the customer, to the business partners, to the suppliers, etc., that will be recorded here. And the payment voucher will be for the money that you have already paid, right? So this is due, payment due, and this is payment done, right? That's how I think about it. Maybe I'm wrong. In any case, please do let me know in the comments below if that is incorrect, but that's my understanding for account payable and payment voucher. So let's make the account payable table, and when we create account payable, right click, design view, account payable, AP mean account payable ID, created on, so we'll get a nice date and time. We'll get the location ID, and remember this is a foreign key, and we'll get a cost center. So whenever we are paying to someone, that is all about cost center because we are accumulating cost. So it will be 25 field size. By the way, I've written here integer. It should be the string. That integer is for my other application, which is I'm making for myself, and that is web app basically. Payable type. So we want to add a payable type. Type mean are we paying wages? Are we paying to the suppliers for the inventory purchase? Are we paying to pay the bills or rent? Whatever different type of expenses. Remember here we have different type of expenses, and that will be the type of payable. And document type, whether it is return order or credit note, whether it is the purchase order, whether it is the expense form. So that is the document type. Okay, so that we will take that into account. So payable type, let's say 50 field size. Document type, will also make it 50 field size. Document number, we have to give a reference of the document for which the accounts payable is generated, and let's give 50 reference number. This reference number is for what is this for? I'm sure there is a reason for this, so we'll add that later on. We'll see the purpose of reference number, but I'll keep this in mind because I've taken notes somewhere, I'm sure, so I will take that. But for now, add it in your database if you're following me and creating. Otherwise, leave it, and I will let you know later on for what reason reference number was added. Total payable. So how much money we have to pay, either to supplier, to the customer, to the government agencies, etc. What is the due date, when we supposed to pay to the payout, and how much money we have paid already. Okay, that also we want to keep record. And what is the balance? What is the balance amount? And we can make it as a calculated field. So calculated field would be total payable minus paid amount. Total payable minus paid amount. Now, some of the people I remember asked me in the comments box that they don't get this calculated field option in their data type drop down. That's because you might be using the old version of the Microsoft Access. So I believe this data type came in from 2016 Microsoft version. So you need to have that. Otherwise, you can do the calculations in the query if you want to do that. When did we pay when did we pay out? That also is very important. And updated by, so who has updated this record? What is the status of the record? And what is the status date? Okay, that is done. Now payment voucher. Payment voucher is used whenever we are paying the money to someone. So we need to keep a record through what number we are paying money to whoever we are paying. Created on. Okay, so we want date time, short date. What is the account payable ID? So basically we are linking this payment voucher with the account payable. Okay, so both tables are being linked to each other. What was the total due amount? Okay, so we'll make it as double standard, 1 decimal place. Total paid, how much we have paid. Okay, again, whenever it is money, double standard 1 and remove the default value as 0. When did we pay? So date and time. Let's keep, because we want to capture the time also. What was the payment channel? Through what payment channel we have paid? So we want to make a drop down here perhaps, and let's make a drop down, and we will use lookup wizard, and in this we'll say we paid as a cash, or we did the bank transfer, or we paid via credit card, or we did the online transfer, or we paid via PayPal, whatever. So you give different options to choose from. That's the payment channel. And then what was the payment document number? So either if you have paid through cash, your payment document number is nothing. If you have paid through bank transfer or PayPal or online transaction whatsoever, everything will have a document number, right? So that document number we want to add here. So to keep a record that through what document number, through what transaction we have paid the money to whoever we wanted to pay. What is the payment document validity. So if, for example, we have paid through check or bank transfer, there might be some validity that if we are paid through credit card, there will be validity ending month, ending year, that we can record here. So it's important information to have, right? Status, and here we go. Status would be 25, field size, and status date, date and time, short date. Okay, so that is done. Now let's talk about account receivables. Now account receivables, by name we can understand the money that we supposed to get either from customer or from other revenue streams. So if there is any other revenue streams, let's say you're selling scrap, so the vendor who is buying the scrap from you, they will give you back some sort of money, and that will be added as account receivable. Whatever sales transaction will happen through sales order, it will be added into account receivable, right? So you will add that as account receivables because money is coming in to the business. So whatever money is coming into the business, that is considered as account receivables by any mean if that money is coming in. Okay, right click, design view, account receivables, and account receivable short name is AR, created on. So short date, location ID, very important, number, and it is a foreign key. What is the profit center? You see, when the money is coming in, it goes in and sits in a profit center. So we'll record the profit center as well. When the money is going out, it will be recorded in cost center. Okay, so that's very important distinctions. Revenue type, what is the revenue type? Either it is sales, so let's make a drop down here, or let's keep it as a short text. We will do it with the VB coding. So what is the revenue type? Either it is sales transaction which happened and as a result the account receivable is created, or was it some other source of some other means of revenue. So that should be recorded. And what is the document type? Is it sales order? Is it some other document? That also we need to record. And what is the number of that document? Okay, so we'll record the number of document as well. So let's keep 50. What is the total receivable amount? All right, double standard 1 decimal point, and how much we have received. Is there any balance to that amount? Okay, so let's make it as calculated field. So we'll say total receivables minus received. Oh god, come on, calculated total receivable minus received amount, and it will be double standard decimal place is 1. When did we received this amount? So date and time. Okay, when was it updated, and it was updated by whom? Who was the person who has actually received this amount? Status, so short text, we'll keep it as 25 characters. Status date, date time, short date. All right, now let's make a receipt voucher. Now receipt voucher is basically the voucher through which the money will be received. So for example, in other words, let's say if we are receiving money through sales channels, and when the invoice will be created, right, when the invoice will be created, basically the cashier will create a receipt voucher through which that money is being collected. Now when the invoice is created, the account receivables will automatically be created at same time. So in account receivables table, we will give the reference number of invoice, for example the document number of the document number, it will be the invoice number, right, in the case of sales channel. In total amount received, here we have so all this table account receivables will be updated the moment invoice is created, and when the customer will pay against that invoice, then the receipt voucher will be created, right? So we will make that link between the documentation. So we will keep the record. We'll say, okay, we sold through this order number, right? We created invoice for this order that was created, and for that invoice we created the account receivables from the accounting perspective, and from that account receivable document we have created the receipt voucher. So it is a sequence of the activities, of the operational activities that you are linking with accounting and finance. I don't know, I might be wrong. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I've done little bit of working, little bit of thought process around this, and I'm sure that this will work, and we will look at it when we will actually create some transactions, and we will see the links that are being created and the data which is being created. So we will see that when we are testing it. If there is any problem, then of course we need to think about it. I need to think about it and I need to make corrections. But if you're watching this and if you think that this is a correct flow, please do let me know in the comments below. And if you think that this is a incorrect flow, please do let me know in the comments below in that case as well. I'm also student, I'm learning with you, right? Even though I'm making video, but I'm learning with you. So there is nothing harmful in giving suggestions and taking suggestions. So let's make this last table receipt voucher, and we'll create that location ID. So we'll give this is a foreign key created on. So we'll have date time, and we want to keep it as short date. ARID, which is account receivable ID. This table is linked with the account receivables. So we'll say number field. Okay. Total received, how much we have received. So whenever it is money, field size will be double, standard, and default value will be 0. Total received and received on. So we'll keep it as short date and status. Oops. Status and status will be short. Let's change it to 25. And status date will be date time, and it will be short date. Okay, right, so we have created tables, and I am having a feeling that this is already has become a long video. How about if we create a relationship in the next video? I know I said it in the earlier at the start of this video that we will create the relationships in this video, but you know, for me it's easy. I will just simply create a relationship. I will demonstrate quickly, but I don't want to hurry up because the relationship part is as important as anything else. So I want to give a proper explanation while we are creating relationship, and therefore uh, I think I should make those relationships in the next video properly explained, why we are linking which table to what table, and that is why I'm going to make a relationship in next video. So please bear with me because these things are important. That's why I'm taking time. But what do you think about this video? If you liked it, smash the like button, hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments below what do you think, what are your thought process for this video as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.